Hi, this is Jack Stanley, and I wanted to talk about something that I find extremely troubling and frightening. And that is our extremely weak and rather pathetic educational prowess. In this day and age, the 21st century, more people go to college, more people go to universities than ever before. And in theory, they are better educated than anyone in our history. But my question is that true? And I have to say with regret, it is not. We have made it a necessity today for people to go to college, to go to university, to do just about anything. I'm of a belief I think that's totally wrong. I think that's a great mistake. And I've talked to the people who have graduated and people who hold very high degrees. And I find so many of them so amazingly devoid of understandings of geography, of government, of history, or the general way in which government works. You know, some of these people cannot even tell you the three branches of government. They don't understand the history of their country. They don't even understand where their country is. There are so many people, you give them a map or a globe and ask them to point out areas where countries are, and they have no idea. They don't need to know that. You know, the whole thing is today, you don't need to know much of anything. And, ask them who the Chief Justice is. Ask them to explain to you how laws are passed. These people don't have the faintest idea. And these people can vote. If something scares the hell out of you, that sure does. I'm of a belief that we should have an exam before you vote, that you have to understand basic principles of government. You just can't blindly go in and vote and say, I'm an idiot. I'm just going to hit something. No, 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 it can't be that way. We have become a country that has become frighteningly stupid, frighteningly lazy. We aren't what we were before. We are far from what we were before. And I look at the people who go through education and then I talk to them and they don't know much of anything. They might know their field, but don't take them away from their field because then they're lost. Another thing that I find is political correctness, which I think of as a disease that basically will destroy any kind of civilization. And I think that has a lot to do with how the educational process is as well. That we have lowered the bar, and we've used the old adage that was used in World War II when it came to convoys. For those of you who don't know what a convoy is, it was a group of ships going across the Atlantic during World War II, bringing supplies and ships and people and men. The thing is that they used to say that a convoy only moves as fast as the slowest ship. And that's what we're doing with our educational system. We have lowered the bar so much that we're bringing out a whole bunch of village idiots. I guess saying village idiot isn't politically correct, but I don't really care because I'm of a point that I'd like to see political correctness go the way of the hula hoop, the typewriter, and men's only suffrage. Another thing I would like to talk about is the fact of how clueless so many people are. I was watching the news the other day, and there was a newscaster on, in all seriousness, talking about the fact that they have discovered that men and women are different, that their skin is different, that they metastasize differently, that their lungs are different. They acted like this is something that we didn't know. Well, the sad part is a lot of people don't. As stupid as that sounds, but men and women are very different psychologically, physically, and of course, in all modes of things, and of course, in their physical abilities. There's no problem with that. There shouldn't be a problem with that. There are some things men can't do, and there's some things women can't do. They're certainly not the same. Another thing that I find kind of frightening is the total lack of our history. How can you operate without understanding that? I had a conversation with someone talking about the moon landing. And I said, well, with Apollo 12 and Apollo 14, I was going on. And they said, you mean there's more than one? And I said, yes, there's many more than one. Another thing that I found a little frightening is the understanding of the three branches of government. A lot of people don't even know that there is three branches of government. If you talk to some smartasses, they might say there's four branches. They call the CIA the fourth branch of government. But the thing is, another thing that I find a little frightening is the fact that I think in this era of pop culture, in which we have deliberately dumbed down people so they're pathetically stupid, that they could probably tell you one of the judges on Dancing with the Stars before they could tell you who the Chief Justice is. Or they could explain the grading principles of American Idol before they could explain to you how laws work in this country, or why there is a House of Representatives, or why there is a Senate, or why there is an electoral college. In fact, probably a lot of people don't even know what the electoral college is. This is a situation in which we're dealing with today. And I must say that we're becoming the laughing stock of the world because we're so stupid. How do we solve this? Start implementing more educational standards. Raise the bar. Make it more difficult. I'm of a belief that maybe 1/3 of our population should go to universities. The rest should go through training to understand a trade. If you want to get into hotel management, why do you need to go to college for that? Why don't you go to a hotel and work an indentured program, more or less, that you get a salary, which is basically room and board, and then you learn your trade? This is how it was done before when people were smarter. And I truly do believe that. You know, today it isn't a matter of what you know, it's where to find it. We have let technology think for us rather than thinking through the technology. How many phone numbers do you have in your head anymore? We don't need it. It's on your cell phone. If you have a question, you don't sit there and go to a book and read and study and learn it. You look it up and forget it again. This is the signs of a decaying society. This is the signs of a loss of control of intellectual prowess. And when you lose that control, and when you lose that ability, everything else escapes from you till you have nothing left. And so I understand television, I understand the internet, I understand all the various things of instant communication. That's nice. But let's start learning something. Let's start talking about things. Let's start finding new ways to educate ourselves. It isn't just going to university that teaches you things. You have to learn far beyond that. And that's very important. And it's something we need to know.